to the show. Welcome, welcome,
Look at when you
welcome
serenade us in. It's so
to the
nice.
show. The five stack is live stack. It's the show. I'm Dean. That's Zev, and we're here again today. Hey, hey, hey! Hi, everybody. Thanks
Don't
for
make me
coming.
sing. Don't make me sing. Whatever you do, don't make me sing.
Can you sing as well as you talk? Because you've got a real sultry voice. You
I sing
smooth
terribly.
South African Lothario. You.
I'm not a South African authority, but I definitely can't sing. And I've tried before, and it's apparently my high notes are low notes, and my low notes are high notes. I have like a what would you call it? I don't know, a reversal of my
Tone and
just
pitch.
toning pitch. Yeah. So there you go. So don't ask me. Don't ever ask me. It's awful. I sing in the shower sometimes. I get criticized almost universally every single time I sing in the shower. So
Well, you know what they used to say? My mom used to say this to me all the time. We'd be in church and she'd be like, "It's okay, honey, you can sing." I'm like, I can't sing." She's like, "It's okay. Your voice is beautiful to everybody. You shouldn't be judged for your voice." I'm like, "Mom, that's not true. Everybody judges everybody." I'm like
it's true.
9 or 10. And she's
Yeah.
like, "No, it's true." So I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to try it." Literally, I tried to sing in one hymn and I'm like, "No, this feels weird." It was like I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Step Brothers,
No.
where Will Ferrell starts singing and he goes, "I can't do it. I can't
Yeah.
do it." It was like same thing, and it's just not my thing. Like I always see people running around. Like I don't mind joke singing. Joke singing's fine,
Yeah.
but there are people running around that are singing that were told to go and try out for American Idol that became
Oh,
international
yeah.
jokes for months, maybe years. Right? Like William Hung comes to mind.
Remember?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember. So, like, listen, if you're not a good singer and you know you're a good singer, don't sing. You're not a good singer. And if your kids or your family, your friends, your spouse can't sing, like Zev is anteing up for today, he's telling the truth, he's a little vulnerability. Don't encourage him to keep doing it. And don't
Yeah.
tell him they're great. And definitely don't tell him to go try out for a singing show.
I'm not going to try it for a singing show. I
That's
mean,
a
it's
good
the
idea.
last thing I'll ever do just because,
Smart.
just fear and panic, and also just completely incapable of doing it. So it's not likely to happen anytime soon. We have
All
some
right.
big Epstein stuff coming up
This
today.
we can do though. We can talk, can't we? And we were going to talk about the Epstein stuff today. We're going to talk
Ready
a lot
talk.
about Pete Hegseth. He's in trouble today. What else are we talking about today?
Well,
Give me the rundown.
we've got these brand new Epstein documents that were released by the House Democrats, which is really interesting. We're going to take a look at the photos and the videos inside the Epstein island at Little St. James is what it's called. I've got breaking news on Ghislaine Maxwell filing to get out of prison. That's coming up in just a few minutes from now. And then we're also going to talk about Hegseth and his incredibly changing story as he tries to get himself out of a very difficult war crimes situation, which you don't want to find yourself in. We'll see if he's able to do it, but he's bending his story left, right, and center here. And then we've also got the election results from last night in Tennessee and a little mini-me Epstein court case for Donald Trump. This is an incredible story out of Arizona, probably the most teasable out of today's show. And Dean Blundell is going to give us the update of that coming up in just a few minutes. So
Where do you want to start?
The breaking news is all about Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is making her move. Her lawyer filed a letter in Manhattan federal court today saying she'll submit a habeas petition challenging her 2021 sex trafficking conviction. This is just weeks after, maybe a couple of months after being interviewed for 2 days by Todd Blanche, Trump's former lawyer, and now DOJ's number 2. Now, they since have quietly transferred her from a Florida prison to a campus, a minimum security camp in Texas. But now she's looking to get out. So what she's trying to do is say that all this evidence that is about to be released out of the grand jury is going to prejudice her ability to have a fair retrial. Now, she hasn't got a retrial yet, but they're arguing that it would be impossible for her to have a fair retrial with all this evidence that's coming out. So it's a circular argument. Normally, I'd say this sounds ridiculous, but in this case, who knows? This DOJ, this Justice Department, this president, anything could happen.
Is this tied to her attempt to have Trump commute her sentence?
I don't know if it's tied to, I'm not a lawyer. I should point out that I don't really know the legalities around this, but they are trying to get her to commute the sentence, and they probably are hitting a bit of a wall. That, considering the unanimous vote that came out of Congress a few weeks ago, this might be an alternative way to try and get out by saying, hey, I can't have a fair retrial. I deserve a fair retrial. But if all this evidence is coming out, there's no ways I can have that. So let me out anyhow. And maybe there's a way out for that. I don't think it'll work, but she's trying without a counsel, by the way, to file this habeas motion. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for her to find a lawyer after. I'm pretty sure her lawyer, who represented her for quite some period of time, who's in the room with Todd Blanche, has basically quietly severed ties with her as well. That's what I hear. I hear that
Really?
there's some jeopardy involved with Ghislaine Maxwell and her proffer agreement and the immunity that she was given so she could lie on behalf of Donald Trump to try and absolve him. Todd Blanche, the interview is legendary. Everybody's heard it. What we did here, which is what they wanted us to hear, was awful. So you can imagine what wasn't awful, because it took them about 4 days to edit the shit out of it, and then we just got these softball questions going, so you didn't see Donald Trump with any young girls, huh? She's like, no, never. He was quite the gentleman, actually. Listen, let's extrapolate this just a little bit to some other pardons that have recently happened. You had that billionaire buddy of his who got pardoned the other day, right? I can't remember the guy's name, and then they sorry, go ahead.
Me neither. I can't remember his name either. But
it doesn't matter. Yeah. Billionaire dude, another billionaire who was supposed to go to jail for 7 years, ended up serving 12 days because he has lots of money. And then they pardoned the former president of the Honduras, who was a convicted Sinaloa cartel guy. We talked about him yesterday. Hernandez is his last name.
The guy who said
first name
they
Orlando.
want to shove cocaine up the nose of gringos. Yeah. Did you hear that line? Yeah. It's a great line.
Yeah. He goes, I won't be happy until we shove cocaine down the throats and up the noses of every American gringo.
Yeah, gringo. Yes,
gringo. Yeah, I love that word, by the way.
Let's release that guy in the middle of a narco war. That's a good idea.
And then you've got the impending Venezuela, shit that's going to happen here. Them blowing up boats. We'll get to that story with Pete Hegseth. He's murdering people. He's in trouble. He's going to go to jail. This is a very serious issue for Trump as well. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It certainly doesn't matter what he says or how much they slough this off. But we have seen a flurry.
There's another one. There's Henry Cuellar, the lawmaker.
Oh, yeah, that was today.
That's also coming. He's Democrat, but still, he was critical of the Biden era border policies. That's why he's getting out. And so, he's just left. Anyone who's a criminal, basically. You just have to suck up to the president of the United States, and you can get out if you just flatter him or say that you were somehow attacked by the Biden administration. It'll give you a way out of prison. Look at Netanyahu's doing the same thing.
Yeah. And Netanyahu's going a step further. He's like, hey, the president of Israel, they got to pardon me because I'm trying to fight a war here, and I'm a good guy. It's just it was just a box of cigars. It's not a box of cigars. It's tens of millions of dollars that they're not talking about, and then that's what he's been accused of. And he went a step further where he had his attack dog. This woman, I can't remember her name, who works for Netanyahu, works with Netanyahu in the Likud party, effectively say, listen, if the president of Israel doesn't pardon Netanyahu, we're going to lean on Donald Trump to make sure that happens.
Well, Donald Trump has publicly said that he should be
foreign interference.
It's ridiculous, It's like, and it's also this it's this dictator club. Each of them saying, "Hey, you pardon me, I'll pardon you." You've got to get
you lean on I'll lean on your guys. It'll be great. But the thing that I want everybody to pay attention to here is the fast-moving Epstein files, the impeachment, imprisonment, and conviction of Pete Hegseth, which is coming. The poll numbers, which is he's got a disapproval rating of about 63% now. It's really fucking bad.
Yeah, it's tanking.
And he is getting crushed. If you looked at what happened, and we'll get to Afton Bain's loss to Mike Van Epps yesterday to Tennessee's 7th District special election yesterday, the swing is 20 points plus for the left over to the right. Every single board, every single election, every special election. Trump is going to get the fuck kicked out of him in the midterms if he even makes it to the midterms. So you've got the corruption with Ukraine. That's now hit the main pages of every news, with Witkoff and Kushner and the profit taking and the deal making. You've got the abandonment of Ukraine. You've got the profit taking with Ukraine. You've got a cabal of assholes like Donald Trump. And then you've got this flurry. If you're reading between the lines, this flurry of pardons of people who are really, really rich. Like, if you don't think one of the head kingpins of the Sinaloa cartel, who used to be the fucking president of the Honduras, doesn't have hundreds of billions of dollars, literally buried in the ground like Pablo Escobar did, you're nuts. And that's what Donald Trump is after. So when he pardons a criminal, What he does is he creates loyalty, but he's doing it specifically with very, very, very wealthy criminals. And
Yeah.
and he is going to lose access to money soon. He is going to get wiped out. And what he needs are strong men, strong women, criminals who are willing to do anything on behalf of Donald Trump because he's willing to pardon them no matter what. And because there's something coming for Donald Trump, and he knows it's coming. And what he's trying to do is literally let all the assholes out of prison that have money that might be of service to him in some capacity ahead of all of these other things that we just talked about, whether it was Venezuela, whether it's the death of the economy in the United States of America, whether it's polling numbers, whether it's the Epstein files, whether it's treasonous activity, whether it's with Russia in Ukraine and Steve Witkoff, or other treasonous seditious information that we're going to get on the 19th of, I believe it is, January, when Jack Smith's special report's coming out, because he's also trying desperately to hide that, to cover that up, to prevent that from coming out. Jack Smith, of course, the J6 insurrection special investigator that went through, was preparing a report, and basically had to stop because Donald Trump shystered the last election. So there is a rush right now on pardons for a very specific reason. And he'll even tell you that. Like, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
I just pardoned him. Well, you fucking knew who he was. And he's like, yeah, of course I knew who he was. And that guy probably, it's Joe Biden. Blames it on Joe Biden. But
Everyone
there's a purpose for this.
Everyone blames Joe Biden, and then you can get off. But the interesting thing about the Maxwell pardon here, the thing that she's trying to do, is she's arguing that if any of these grand jury transcripts are released, then she won't be able to have a free trial. So she's actually helping him in another way. She's arguing that, in order to have a retrial, a fair retrial, they can't release all these documents that are now under Judge Berman's, oversight currently in that grand jury investigation, or grand jury a debate that they're having about whether to release these grand jury transcripts. So it's a bit of a mixed bag here. And on the one hand, she's saying, hey, I either need out, because I can't, or you release the files, but you can't have both, is what she's arguing, I think. It's an interesting argument. I don't know if it'll hold.
Yeah, no, it won't. But listen, here's the thing, is that I think this is a precursor for asking for a pardon from Donald Trump, which is also apparently in the works, right? Yeah. This is her kind of going down that list, and this does help Donald Trump in that capacity in terms of it possibly jeopardizing any kind of investigation that she wants done, or a trial she wants done. But she was like shut down by the Supreme Court 3 weeks ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, she was.
Like, no,
which is why
last
I don't
chance,
understand
you're fucked.
this.
This is performance art.
Yeah,
from the worst. The biggest convicted pedophile in the history of the United States. Yeah. That's what this was. And while that's going on, she's buttering up Donald Trump. And I heard this from 2-3 people the other day. Like in the course of this week, I've heard this, that Donald Trump is literally on a pardon tangent to shore up any kind of loyalty and support, because he's going into the battle of his lifetime in the midterms. And one of those people he wants to shut the fuck up is Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. Tried to do it with the proffer agreement, tried to do it by sending her to Bryant, Texas, letting her have a dog and take fucking Pilates class at 10 o'clock at night, have a personal chef, all other stuff. All that's true, by the way. And now she's going a step further, because that's what happens when you deal with Donald Trump, is you can continue to lean on him. Specifically, you got dirt on him because the only thing Donald Trump cares about is Donald Trump. So if you don't think that he's not seriously considering a pardon, think again.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he is. I want to know what she promised him. I mean, what exactly has she promised him? Has she told him that she's going to keep it all quiet? Is she keeping everything under wraps? What was this?
Well, didn't she also say that if she was dragged in front of Congress, if the Epstein files are made public and she's asked to be a material witness in regards to the cover-up, she said this like a week ago. She's like, I'll plead the fifth. I'm not telling anybody nothing.
The fifth, yeah. Which is exactly what he wants, probably. But, did she make that as an explicit promise, like saying, hey, release me and then I'll keep quiet, or else? I mean, is there an or else to this, where that she isn't released? Is she going to talk? It'd be interesting to see if that happens.
Give me 1 second, if you can. Can you give me just 1 second?
Yeah, you can have as many seconds as you want. I will keep talking about things. There's a great new video out today as Dean steps away at the photos from inside Epstein's island. That is coming up. We're going to take a look at that, and he'll be back any second now. He is already back.
Sorry, someone was at the door. I had to go deal with it.
No worries. It happens. This is about broadcasting from home. This is
yeah.
We don't have teams. We just have each other,
This isn't some CNN/bulwark operation over here, everybody.
It's not CNN. I thought it was CNN.
No, thank God.
I was really hoping we'd be seeing that. Okay, so number 4 story is really big. This is all over deanblundell.substack.com today. It is the first photos and video from inside Epstein's island that we've seen. I've seen lots of drone video from above. I've seen lots of pictures externally. I've seen some pictures that were included into various court documents about things that happened there, but those were close-up and intimate photographs. I've not seen anyone walk us through this place, and it is fascinating to say the least. We've got video, we've got photos. Where would you like to begin, sir? This is your story from deanblundell.substack.com.
Yeah. Listen, this is not like the pictures that we've seen. It was originally posted, I believe, by the House Intelligence Committee around 10:30 this morning, maybe 11 o'clock. They posted 14 different assets. There are 4 videos and 10 pictures, if I'm to understand this correctly. And there are a couple of very interesting pictures. We'll get to that in just a second. What I find fascinating about these pictures is they were actually taken by the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Justice, USVI. And DJ. So these just were released by the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Justice, which really has nothing to do with the Department of Justice in the United States. It does as a satellite Department of Justice in a territory, right? So, but I find this to be very interesting because it didn't come from the Department of Justice in the United States of America because they're really fucking busy trying to do this. So are they at odds? USVI, Department of Justice, are they at odds? Or are they part of this? Or are these because the House Intelligence Committee just got these. It's not like these pictures came.
The Democrats got these. That's also important to remember. I'm going to roll some video here. Or should we? No, let's talk about it first. This comes out of the U.S. Virgin Island is part of America. The U.S. Virgin Islands is part of America, and they have a prosecutor there that's responsible and reports to the DOJ, as far as I understand it. So these are American prosecutions, and this is where they have had the bulk of prosecutions in the U.S. Virgin Islands because it's been difficult getting these prosecutions in the United States for various reasons. They've landed up happening at the USVI. So the case against JP Morgan was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. There's various cases actually that took place in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so this is evidence that came from that. And it's interesting that this is being released at the same time to Democrats, not to the Oversight Committee as a whole. And they're being released, even though the prosecutor there does fall under the DOJ, somehow they're still being released, which suggests something. There is a little bit of independence, I guess, from their office over there.
Yeah, or they're at odds, right? At least they've got some people down there that are sick and tired of having to cover for Jeffrey Epstein, sick and tired of having to
look away. Cash cow for them, by the way, as well. They're getting a lot of money out of Jeffrey Epstein's lawsuits because they get a piece of everything. Sometimes they get a huge chunk of everything because it happened on in their island, so they can claim damages. So
they also they also don't want to be known as that set of islands that actually harbors pedophilia, right? So that might be part of this too.
Yeah, there is the former governor's former governor's wife, I believe. Maybe he's still the governor. Maybe she's still the first lady. I don't know. Who was working for Epstein in one of his private companies. So there's all sorts of local corruption that went on. But that's a side note, and I'll get to that another time. But there's so much good video here. We should check it out.
Yeah, let's play the video if you can of the walkthrough in the pool. This is his house. And it's creepy and it's weird, and you can see how the vast expanse. These are cabanas for guests. This is where a lot of the assaults would happen during, after, before pool parties that Jeffrey Epstein would famously host in that pool. And these are the cabanas that individuals would be able to, go back to, if there wasn't some kind of sex trafficking there. I'm sure some very famous people there. I know Trump had stayed there. Hundreds of people have stayed in those cabanas. But I want you to check out this walk. This is almost medieval.
It's incredible. These are old ruins of these older buildings, or maybe they're just the walls. I don't know. Maybe they're just protecting from the wind.
But check that out. It's all about privacy, right? It's all about not letting anybody have access from any kind of perspective around the island, whether they have a boat or not, which is why it was as high as it was.
There's a story about this wall. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was built for privacy, and it was expensive, I think, to build it. And look at that, completely concealed from the water. And the weather, on this day is adding a haunting kind of feel to this video as they were shooting it. This is when the U.S. Virgin Islands FBI, I believe, or prosecutor's office first arrived there, and this is their evidence that they took on that day. I love the. I mean, it's kind of stunning. This place is massive. It's not, it's not a small little island. It's a substantial piece of land. I think it's 300 acres of land, if I'm not mistaken. And you see this pool, which is a centerpiece here, but it's also surrounded by all these private cabins and concealed environments. So all sorts of things could happen, and no one could see you. You could enjoy, the pool, but not be inside, all that kind of stuff. And this pool, I think, if I'm not mistaken, at one point had female figurines aligned all around it. I'm not seeing them here. Like female statues surrounding this pool. I don't see it here. But otherwise, it's quite a large piece of property. He was almost buying a second island. I believed he actually had gotten a second island nearby.
Yeah, that was the news that came with this too. That this wasn't his only island. A lot of people didn't know this. He had an LLC that owned an island that was basically right next to this island. No need to know or reason why he had to have two fucking islands. I guess that's what you do, right?
Bought by a sultan, Saudi sultan. So let me turn on the background noise here. So a Saudi, I can't remember his name, but maybe it'll come to me. Bought it on his behalf. Again, it's really weird. Every time Jeffrey Epstein wanted to get a property, he would just get someone to buy it for him. In this case, it was a Saudi guy. I'm not sure what happened to it. But here's the other video.
Yeah, that's the way that you'd dock your boat down there, and then you'd walk up this walkway. I watched someone kind of take me through this who had been on the island. It was just a video online when this stuff broke, because this literally broke today. And I couldn't help but think, to the thousands and thousands of victims, what this video would mean to them if they watch this today. What kind of memories get dragged back into the front of your brain that you've been trying so hard for so long, for 20, 30 years to scrub, and it's just, it is truly remarkable. It's a
helicopter pad, I think, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's a helipad on the right.
Which is important because Ghislaine is a helicopter pilot. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Ghislaine is a helicopter pilot. So she used to pick up all their famous guests and some of these younger women, and bring them over by helicopter from the main from the U.S. Virgin Islands airports. And that was part of the J.P. Morgan documents. I think a $17 million helicopter that he bought for her. It's a nice prize, nice gift.
Well, you know what you get is you cut out the couple of middlemen that might be witnesses in a decades-long sex abuse trial when your chauffeur is your madam and your helicopter pilot too, who can ferry young girls to and fro your pedophile island. Really creepy.
The whole thing's
to your point, the whole thing's creepy. There's a couple other videos. I don't know if you have the one.
Let's go. This is inside. This is a bathroom one. So maybe you can tell us what this is.
Yeah, this is inside one of the cabanas. This is the bathroom inside one of the cabanas. They're largely all decked out like this. They actually weren't very big, but they had individual quarters. I want to say there were 10 to 12 individual quarters where Jeffrey Epstein would give one of these cabins. Say he'd bring 10 billionaires, world leaders to town for a weekend of fun, frivolity. Then he'd bring in the ladies. They would stay. The girls would not stay in these cabanas. They would be ordered to go into these cabanas and visit these people after they hung out with these people all day long at the pool, which is just outside of these cabanas. And again, we're all seeing this for the first time. This is very eerie because we know what happened in there.
In each of these walls. I mean, there must be cameras in each of these walls. We can't see them, obviously, but it's quite likely everything in here, everything that happened in here was
recorded
filmed.
Visually, recorded audio. They found a ton of recording equipment, videos, pictures in every single one of these. And keep in mind, this was done shortly after Jeffrey Epstein was picked up and then taken to MCC. And I don't know where this fits in the timeline where the recording, if this happened before he died or not. But
this is after he died, if I'm not mistaken, because these USVI trials all happened after he died. But I don't want to say that that I know for sure. But it's I think it happened after he died. I think it's closer to 2021, probably around there. Yeah, where it happened. But I mean, they kind of look rudimentary. I mean, they don't look that exceptional. Toiletry's still out, so still. But they're this is not that fabulous a location.
No, that's the thing, is that it was just this functional pad for people to do fucked up shit. And there was 12 of them. You
Yes,
know, like to me, if you got 12 different cabanas and you're running a pedophile operation, sting operation out of your, not sting, a pedophile sex trafficking ring on a private island that no one has access to and can't see, you know, each one of these things is a multimedia captured environment,
Mhm.
and you've got a farm of information, blackmail. That's what struck me about this today. Is in the house, you know, Epstein's room didn't have cameras. Maxwell's room didn't have cameras. Other, you know, general, you know, meetings places didn't have cameras. But anywhere Epstein didn't spend most of his time, it was everything was wired for sound,
Of
like
course, yeah.
absolutely
Yeah,
everything.
I can
And so
see.
this is just like whenever he brought people there, the whole goal was to farm as much fucking blackmail as humanly possible.
Mhm. You know, the whole place, just actually let you know, had a barge dock, 2 homes and cottages, an amphitheater and gardens, a solar array and generator, a security building, a storage building, and an underwater office and pool. I have no idea how they did that, but they had an underwater office and pool, so they claim. Let's take a look at some of these other photographs. This is a big one here, just a wide shot of one of these cabanas. This is a bathroom in one of these cabanas that is quite decked out. You know, I mean, all sorts of things you can imagine happened here. Is that a glass wall that's separating these two? It looks like a
Yeah,
glass wall to me.
appears to be. Yeah.
You know, again, maximum visibility. There's this incredibly interesting and provocative,
Yeah.
redacted, unfortunately, phone. And we've got, you know, Darren Indike is probably Darren over there. Richard Kahn is probably Rich's office. That's his lawyer accountant. So his lawyer is Darren Indike, who's also in charge of the estate, and Rich is his accountant who kept, you know, real track of Donald Trump's finances for him, all for Epstein all the time, which is so interesting that they were so interested in what Donald Trump had financially and what he owed financially.
Who's Larry? Is Larry Summers?
You know, that's a good question. I have no idea who Larry is. I'd say it could be Larry Summers. I mean, there's all the I've not seen a lot of Larrys in the list there, so I think I would be surprised if that's not redacted though. So it could be some staff member or something like that. I don't. These all look like staff members. The ones. Sorry, Darren and Richard staff. Mike may be the. Let me check on Mike. Actually, he might be the. Oh, there's a Miles Alexander. Sorry, not Mike, who was the island manager for a period of time. So maybe there could be all sorts of staffers that were working there. You know, we know as well that there was a kitchen staff, you know, all sorts of other staffers.
Yeah.
So there's a machine shop as well and work shed. So I don't know if it's Larry. I'd be surprised if it's Larry because I would suspect that
weird thing that would
redacted.
You know what I noticed too is that there's so many fucking landlines in this place. If you see that picture there on the right hand side, you see a phone landline, right? Everybody's got a landline.
Right.
Like it's 2020, 2019. No one has landlines anymore, but apparently he had one. But again, you know, you notice how sterile this whole place is too, right? It's minimal. You know, there's a bed, there's a desk, large living space, big walk-in showers, et cetera, et cetera. And this is again in one of the cabanas that you see in the picture, in the videos that we saw when we first started. So
it's interesting, isn't it, that it looks almost like it's being cleaned out. Like it doesn't look like any of the incriminating stuff is still there.
It looks like it was staged to be sold, right?
Yeah. The stuff that you know was there, like in their other evidence finds in the other homes, was like sex toys and portraits of crazy sexual images, and those aren't in any of these photos. So it seems like this was taken out. Now, there is one room, and we'll walk into this room and then show you what's on the blackboard here. This room is, I mean, this looks
like Epstein's office.
Yeah, a lair of a James Bond villain, if you ask me. Basically, from 1980s movie of a James Bond movie, you know, from the Roger Moore days, maybe. But that's what this looks to me like. You know, this is a power broker kind of setup here. We got 4 of these armchairs where these world leaders could sit and discuss the world probably, and he'd sit behind the desk and do whatever he does. But on the blackboard here is some of the most intriguing things I've seen in the entire Epstein release of any documents. Is it an algorithm? It looks like almost like an algorithm about power.
Yeah, it looks like it's an algorithm about how to how to run a psyop and against girls, young girls, is what it looks like. It's got plant, it's got trust, and then what's blacked out that a lot of people don't know. These are the names and initials of girls whose names have been identified as young girls, young women that Jeffrey Epstein has abused, and his cabal of sex trafficking pedophiles have abused. That's why those are blacked out, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Because, to your point, did they clean it out? Would have erased the fucking chalkboard with the incriminating evidence that effectively, in a weird abstract way, sort of gives you the psychological formula that goes into trying to, convince young girls that being trafficked is good for them.
And it's what's in his mind. I mean, if you look at it in a similar way, this is his sort of a mind map for how he is going to, he underlines the word power there, and I'm obviously reading into it, but we're not even sure he wrote it. But in the biggest word that I come to there is power. It's underlined, and then on the side of it, he talks about financials. He talks about physics, I think. Then he talks
Trust,
about
plant.
Yeah, but the third from the power line, there's a intellectual. Is that what it says there? And then it says political. There's 4 different categories on the left there: financial, physics. I think it's intellectual, and then it says political. And then he puts a dash towards power. I mean, this is how his mind worked, as far as I can tell. Like, he looked at all those 4 factors in order to acquire power. He got all these people from each of this sector, from the financial sector, from the science sector, from the intellectual world, and from the political world, in order to get himself power. And he sort of took their power away from them and then triangulated all their influence with each other to be able to gain even more power. And then you get to this notion that the deception is the next line. That's the word that really jumped out of me. So he's using deception, obviously, and above that it says truth and plants to try and acquire power, as sort of what I read out of that. And that is what he was doing. He had a compromat factory. He was deceiving politicians and other influential people, and using plants, using spies, essentially, in these women who were spies. I mean, we think of it just as a human trafficking of young girls, but there's also a huge spy element to this, which we're just about to get to in The Greatest Heist. We spoke about it a little later on. These models that were basically brought into America on these O visas in order to be spies. So these are the plants that he may be referring to, and then using them as deception in order to gain this power. To me, there's something there that really explains his operation,
Totally. And you know what? You're touching on a much bigger conversation. I can't wait to read the next chapter in Your Greatest Heist if you're going to deal with the spy aspect, because you bring up a great point. This wasn't just about trafficking children for the most disgusting Richie Riches and the biggest perverts in the world, like in the fucking world. This was also about young women and young girls, young women specifically, who were from other countries that had no problem becoming part of this pipeline, feeding Jeffrey Epstein information while they were honeypotting whoever Jeffrey Epstein told them to honeypot. And Jeffrey Epstein would just introduce them. Oh, this is Ludmila. Oh, this is Maria. She's from Cortina. Oh, this is and 3 months later, 6 months later, these gentlemen had been honeypotted, and sometimes they ended up marrying some of these women. i.e. Donald Trump marrying Melania Trump. She knew Jeffrey Epstein a year before she met Donald Trump.
Yeah.
She was involved in that cabal a year before she met Donald Trump, and was effectively offered to Donald Trump by Jeffrey Epstein, which is how they met. And if you believe Michael Wolff, who said he got it firsthand, and, do you believe Michael Wolff? I guess in this situation, I would. The first time they had sex was a year after Epstein was finished with her, and they had sex on Epstein's plane on the way down to Epstein's Island. That is the account. So yeah, the espionage part of this is something that doesn't get talked about enough.
No, it doesn't, and I think it's a missing piece for a lot of people. I think there was absolutely the most horrific human trafficking going on of teenage girls, and that's a problem on its own. And then there was this human trafficking of Eastern European women into here, and amongst them were also these trained spies. I had Olga Lautman on last night on the Trump Tyranny Tracker, and she spoke about how she tracked down 2 of these assistants who surrounded Epstein, and one of them She was able to identify as being from a GRU family by using the virtually going through grave sites in Russia and being able to identify the names of the.
It's exciting work, isn't it?
It's exciting work. God bless Olga Lautman for doing all this stuff. I mean, she's amazing the way she's researched all this.
She's unbelievable. Yeah, hat tip to Olga. Everybody go give her a follow. Olga Lautman here on Substack. She's incredible.
Yeah, she really is. But she was able to identify 2 Russian spies essentially around Epstein and Epstein circles that he embedded in Silicon Valley in order to steal secrets from Silicon Valley and also to chase the AI technology that they were so keen on. So those were plants. Those were people that were, brought into the country through his modeling agency and then put into these positions where they could spy on others. There's a whole story that still needs to be told, and I'm going to try to do my best to do it this weekend if I get to it.
You'll be incredible. Don't worry. I'm excited. I hope you do it this weekend. I want to see it. I want to watch it. I want to hear it. I moved this up.
I moved this up because it's such an interesting part of it that I don't think people really get to see. So I bumped another thing down, but we'll get to all of it. Don't worry.
Let's talk about this picture real quick.
What is this? What is this? What is going on here? It's a dentist.
What we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, if you're watching it with us now, with the thousands of folks who are currently live streaming with us, and thank you. We love you. Hi, we see you. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Rebecca. Hello, Linda. Hello, Wendy. Thank you so much for popping in, guys. What we're seeing here is a dentist chair, literally a dentist setup, like for X-rays to do dental work. So he had a dental office in there. Apparently didn't use it very much. Not sure if you've seen Jeffrey Epstein's teeth. That's why he didn't smile very much. He had a terrible fucking set of chompers, like absolutely awful. But if you needed some spiffy dental work, apparently he had a whole dentist setup. What's interesting is it sort of looks like a creepy storage room with a dentist chair in the middle. It's got these creepy as fuck pictures and masks on the walls. Weird for a dentist office. And then if you look behind the dentist chair, you see a massage table.
Yeah. I mean, massage tables were very common in the evidence log that I've seen that the FBI has. There are so many massage tables because obviously this was his.
Oh, like the massage tables to Epstein were like P. Diddy's baby oil bottle.
Yeah. A little bit, maybe, but this is obviously how they got these guys engaged with these women and how they filmed it all. Maybe these are cameras behind these masks. Who knows? I would also, it's interesting that a lot of plastic surgery has been discussed around some of these operatives, and maybe something else was going on here other than just dentistry. I'm just positing that. I don't know for sure.
Maybe you could be right. It's a dentist chair, but maybe it's a surgical procedure chair. Who knows? I mean, I don't know anything about plastic surgery, fortunately or unfortunately for you. I've never had it. But this is one of those pictures where you're like, what the fuck? You had a full-on dentist office on Little St. Jeff's Island, Little St. James Island. It just is so fucking weird. But the massage table's right there, and the creepy factor, purely 10 out of 10. No matter what they were doing in there, it was medical of nature, and you have to kind of wonder, my God, what happened in this room? Because there's a massage table and a dentist chair, surgical equipment, and a bunch of creepy masks on the wall. So maybe, you bring up a good point. These are masks of changing faces that are in this office. If you look real close, you can go check out the entire thing.
That is true.
Yeah, maybe this is the facelift room.
It could be the facelift room. A lot of these spies would need different identities. Olga mentioned yesterday that they would often undergo plastic surgery, so in order to come out looking differently. And what an ideal place to do something like that. If you bring people to the island, you leave them there for a few weeks, get them transformed.
Can we talk about something for a second?
We can talk about anything.
If you commit a crime and you're so desperate not to be caught committing that crime, you allow someone to reconstruct your fucking face. You really don't want to get caught.
But it's not these could be spies, real hardcore Russian spies who needed a new look because they needed to continue doing their work. It's one way to go into hiding is to change your appearance. You know
what? It's funny. I normally would just, if someone brought this up, this is the facelift room, but now it's making more sense to me that it's not really a dentist office. Like, you consider what this guy was wrapped up in, you consider who he did business with, you consider what he touched, and you consider the fact that no one's going to ask anybody who shows up to this island what happened in this room.
Yeah.
specifically if someone stays there for 5 to 6 weeks, gets excellent medical treatment. And Jeffrey Epstein was that catch-all for the worst fucking people in the world, specifically the KGB, FSB, Vladimir Putin, and the mob. So, fuck, it makes more sense to me now we're talking about it. Now we're looking at some of the nuances in that room as well.
It could also mean why they've had so much privacy, why there's all these cabins around the pool that are so concealed. Because if someone was a spy or someone important that was undergoing some sort of plastic surgery, they would want to be not seen by anybody. So it might be another factor that it's just a whole other world that we just don't talk about that much. Here's an exterior shot again. We've seen this on video, so there's not much there, I don't think.
Yeah, those are the outsides of the cabanas we were looking at. There you go. There's your warning not to go on the island.
Don't be there. Don't go there. I would be terrified to go there. I would just be terrified.
That just looks like a place that you give the dog a bath. That's what that is. I don't know.
Or it's like a steam bath. Is it like a steam bath?
It's a steam bath. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's where a bunch of terrible shit happened. Apparently, if you read through some of the comments and some of the accounts of some of the women who were abused, a lot of stuff happened in the sauna and the steam bath.
Yeah, I can totally see how that would have been the scene for many terrible things. Now we're back in the office. We've seen this one already. So those are them. Those are the photos, if I'm not mistaken. Really interesting, I got to say. They bring us into a world that I've been dying to see inside this, and it's so good to be able to finally get a look inside what it really looks like.
Do you know why Democrats released that?
Do I know why?
Yeah,
I don't know why. Do you know?
Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody today. They will go nameless. I'm like, these seem pretty innocuous. And they're like, they kind of are, and that's the point. And I'm like, well, tell me what the point is then. This is like a leaning out of the line, waving at Donald Trump, going, by the way, we got way more.
Yeah.
So it's like a wink. You think this is bad? Wait until we start posting the pictures from the Epstein estate. Wait till we start posting other pictures that place other people around you and possibly you at the scene of the crime. And the person that told me this has inside information and is convinced that prior to the 19th, we're going to get a dump of the Epstein files. We're going to get more pictures. But this was the House Democrat, the House Democrats on the Oversight Committee saying, oh, sucker, we're coming.
Yeah, there's also evidence
we need you to know we have something, and we're going to shake you to your core, and every single person that has ever been on an island that sees these pictures is going to shit their fucking pants. That's what this was. This is a warning shot.
There are, and I put this out in a story a few weeks ago about the amount of evidence, the amount of taped evidence, and the amount of hard drives that are in the FBI files that, it's 300 gigabytes. It sounds like a lot of stuff. It is a lot of stuff. There are cameras in every room, and there are documented items, CD drives full and hard drives. And this is industrial grade. These are not the kind of things you'd have in your home. These are the kind of things you have in a secure environment, like a corporation, that we're recording all these moves. Now, some of it's been disappeared, and we may not be able to ever see it, but there is some there. And some of it is considered not classified, but only for office use and investigation purposes only. And that stuff could contain, some really well-known people doing things that you wouldn't expect.
Oh no, it does. It does. And I don't know if you saw the latest $310 million lawsuit launched about an adjacent Epstein-style sex trafficking thing. You want to get to that now? Because that's a good one.
Go right ahead.
No, please go ahead. Read the headline and then we'll get into it.
All right. So this is a story that comes from deanblundell.substack.com. Again, a civil lawsuit filed in Palm Beach County accuses Donald Trump of running a trafficking venture identical in every material respect to Epstein's operation, naming Trump in both personal and official capacity as president, alongside Elon Musk and Bill Gates as co-defendants. The anonymous plaintiff alleges an 8-year grooming scheme starting in 1998, claiming her infant daughter was taken as punishment for filing lawsuits and accused defendants of 5 murder attempts against her. Wow. What a story.
When you think the Epstein story squeezed every last drop of disgusting out of the American public, Florida just said, hold my drink. This is enormous. And it broke 2 days ago. I believe we were one of the first to actually report about this. I put this out yesterday. It's the third today. Yesterday was the second, right? Yeah. I put this out yesterday at around 12:30. It is now, this is, as well as other reports are now viral. in this lawsuit filed in Palm Beach County, accuses Donald Trump of running a trafficking venture. The plaintiffs, more than one, there are several, say is identical in every material respect, as you pointed out, to Epstein's sex trafficking operation. This is another one. This isn't Epstein. This isn't the Epstein child trafficking ring that everybody's waiting with bated breath on files. This is another one. Trump is named both in his individual and his official capacity as president. That's really fucking important. And because of the 2020 something is written by whoever scripted Black Mirror in the suit, it also drags Elon Musk and Bill Gates into it. This is what landed in court, according to the filing. An anonymous lead plaintiff and other redacted plaintiffs, dozens of them, have launched a $310 million civil suit. They're asking for $310 million in compensatory damage, $134 million in attorney's fees, laundry list of injunctions, the immediate return of full legal and physical custody of the lead plaintiff's daughter. Daughter's still missing. Limits on what the defendants can do going forward. They even want the court to fast track the whole thing to get to a jury trial by December the 20th, which is the very day after we're supposed to get the Epstein files, which is December the 19th. Who's getting sued? Trump, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, other entities that are redacted. Some are government related and some are, shall we say, on the judiciary.
Wow.
This is a massive deal, and it's a massive deal because it on its own is exactly like the Epstein thing, which is the biggest fucking story scandal in U.S. history. We could have yet another very similar adjacent pedophile child sex trafficking operation. Okay, kidnapping, sex trafficking, wire fraud, pedophilia, the same thing. Because it appears, according to this report, these documents, and what was filed in a Florida court, that Donald Trump was running a very similar enterprise to Jeffrey Epstein.
Wouldn't be surprising, actually. I mean, as I write in The Greatest Heist, these two are the same operation, broadly speaking. They're the same operation that the KGB did to unsettle and invade and infect Americans' capitalist system and destroy it from the inside. So Trump was the one piece of that. Epstein was the other. It is remarkable to me that this is just a civil lawsuit. I mean, this sounds like a very criminal case. Now, maybe the statutes of limitations are passed, but I don't believe they exist for these kinds of cases.
No, they don't. And you know what? You watched like 20, I don't know, what was it, 26? Now thousands not get any legal answers, try to run it up the legal flagpole with the United States of America through 5 different administrations. They didn't get anywhere. So the thinking here, as I understand it, is to start civil and then give birth to all kinds of other criminal opportunities if the civil trial can actually upend some information and drags information out, get other people kind of running for cover, et cetera, et cetera. But that in itself, this lawsuit in itself, as it was started, I had to blink twice when I read it because I was like, is this not the same one? Are you telling me there's a whole, and I literally had to phone like 6 people. Can you help me understand this? We called down to the Palm Beach sheriff's office. They wouldn't say anything to us, haven't returned our calls. But effectively, from what I understand, this is a completely separate. And by the way, everybody, Linda, Wendy, everybody's asking where they can find this. If you go to deanblundell.substack.com, it's Trump hit with $310 million lawsuit alleging identical sex trafficking venture. You can literally read it right there. I've got the receipts. You can have a look at it. You can source it yourself. But it is, I would say the timing couldn't be worse for Donald Trump, which is good news for us.
The integration here of the Gates Foundation, which is so, has not been really explored, but the whole Gates connection to Epstein and Trump is really interesting. And the fact that their accusation here is that their foundation was used as a cover and silencing mechanism for these women suggests, that the Gates Foundation could be the site of a criminal investigation itself, and maybe should be. There is so much that keeps coming out about Bill Gates in all of this, which is, awful because we all sort of thought of Bill Gates as being this incredible guy. But who knows what really went on there. Sorry. There's a lot
Well, do you
of,
remember like, when Miranda suddenly split up with him, and it was
yeah,
right
it
around
was
the time
about
everybody was like, "Hey,
Epstein.
Bill Gates was on Epstein Island,"
Yeah.
and they asked Miranda, like several interviews, they're like, "What happened?" She's like, I didn't. Let me just say this: I did not approve of his relationship with some people, and
Yeah.
that's where I'll leave it. And it was later found out, she admitted that it was Jeffrey Epstein. She was grossed out, not by his relationship with him at first, because she didn't know, or she kind of knew, everybody knew. It was the worst fucking secret in the world. You can't not know when it's in the news for fucking 13 years. Like, and she found something out.
Oh yeah, she did. There was more than just his sexual, whatever he was doing with Epstein. His entire inner circle was operational in terms of espionage. There were people who in his immediate group that were put in there. Some of them were compromised. Some of them were paid in order to really compromise. When you think about the Microsoft empire back then, and you think of how many people used Outlook and how many people used that
Windows.
as the mail mechanism. I mean, imagine being able to get your hooks into everyone's mail servers using Outlook as a backdoor or anything like that. I mean, if you were trying to set up an espionage operation, that might be a good one. He'd be a real target. And why I keep leaning back into the spy world, and I don't want people to think I'm just being sort of conspiratorial here, is this was a KGB undertaking originally. We know the ties that Donald Trump had with the KGB. We know the ties that Epstein had with the Israeli military intelligence and also with the KGB. We know about the Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, his involvement in all of this. It was with the KGB and the Israeli military intelligence. You add all of that together, and there's a lot of spying going on. And so there's something much bigger behind each of these moves that sometimes they just seem like these are criminal suits, but they don't have a real meaning for to exist. Because why would you just do this? You would only do this if there's a bigger background to them, which is an espionage effort, which is much, much bigger, either to gain information, to learn about technology, to learn about secrets of state, to influence policy perhaps, or to create economic warfare, like you crash the economy in several times. So I keep going back to those things as being the big causes for all these smaller cases. But it's really interesting and such a good story. Congratulations on getting it.
Listen. I'm listening to you, and I'm kind of weighing. Like I'm going. This is way bigger than I think it is.
I think it is. I think it is big. Here's an interesting thing that I've never really addressed. There's an original case in 2006 or 2007 against Epstein that went from the Palm Beach to the FBI. That set up a grand jury. That's what's under debate right now. But there's a previous grand jury, a federal grand jury from 2005, which has never really been exposed. We don't really know what it was about. It's also being asked for by Judge Berman right now for it to be extracted. That grand jury, timing-wise, Epstein always thought that it was Trump who called the cops on him in 2004 because he wanted to hide that real estate deal. Mm-hmm. That may be tied to that thing, to that particular first call to the feds. That went away, and then another case came up, and then that's the case that we know today as being the main grand jury case. I'm really interested if what you're saying now about Donald Trump and his $310 million lawsuit here, civil lawsuit involving a very similar operation, I'd just be interested to know what kind of investigations might have happened then as well against that and whether it ties in with the 2005 lawsuit. I mean, these are all really interesting questions that are just popping in my head here.
Do you know what's interesting about it too? Is that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein apparently, and you get this out of the Epstein files, specifically not just the estate drop, but the previous drop, is that Donald Trump admitted that he and Jeff had a falling out over stealing girls.
Yeah.
Right? So in my mind, it changes that narrative. It's not just stealing girls from the spa. Like Donald Trump on Air Force One was like, yeah, he was stealing them. I told him, you got to stop. They're mine.
Yeah, prime
You gotta wonder if that's what this is.
Well, why would you even remember the 16-year-old who was, employed?
Who he said he never met, like, for
Yeah,
years, right?
but
I don't
yeah,
know who you're talking about. He
but
just worked at a
he
spa.
remembered it was stolen. He remembered that
But I
that
remember
was a
that
big.
stole. Yeah, he stole her from me, and he stole all these other girls. I'm like, you got to stop stealing girls for your ring because I got my own ring
No,
going on over here.
but he does basically say that. I mean, he's basically had these young
Yeah.
underage girls giving massages to people at Mar-a-Lago. Well, why was he doing that? And was it an operation? Was it people in some cases? We know her father was involved was he working at Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, well, he was the groundskeeper at Mar-a-Lago, and
So
he
was she?
also abused his daughter.
Yeah.
Abused in the same way these men abused her. Then he's like, "Hey, why don't you come work with me at Mar-a-Lago?" Because if you ask me, the first time she was trafficked, it was by her dad.
Yeah, I think so. And to Epstein too. I mean, he knew Epstein. So this is a much bigger story than any of us really have a clue about. I mean, I think like it's, we're beginning to see the outlines now. This is going to be all of this. The Epstein story is going to be the thing that takes down Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure of it. But I don't know for sure, but I think so.
Well, I don't know. He tweeted 400 times in 3 hours the other day, like
Right.
a fucking lunatic. Do you think it's getting to him?
Somebody's getting to him. That was a crazy tirade. He was falling asleep the next day at the. We haven't got to that
Oh my
story
God!
yet.
Are we talking about that today?
We haven't. We're running out of time. We've got 2 more stories to get to, and I was going to talk about it, but
all right,
let's do these quickly. So, number 2, Republicans barely held onto a Tennessee congressional seat. Trump won by 22 points last year. I got to blow my nose. You're going to have to tell them about this story. It's all about the
122, Nashville, Montgomery County, Clarkson, that area. He won it by a landslide, plus 22 points in 2024. Barely won it. The Mike Van Epps, the Republican candidate, who's literally the village fucking idiot. Like, if you've seen any of his commercials, listen to talk, he's like, "I'm gonna do whatever I'm told. I'm gonna do affordability, cheap groceries, Donald Trump, and beat Afton Bain by, I believe, 7 points. And Afton Bain is a very, very left-leaning human being. She makes no bones about it. So it was a bridge too far for most people in Tennessee. I think she might have been the wrong candidate. Lovely lady, but what it said was that Donald Trump has erased almost all support in the deepest, reddest district in the United States of America. And the guy who won barely fucking won.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Sorry, I'm going to have to just fix my nose. I'm going to let you keep talking, but
go do your thing. Go fix your nose.
Yeah,
fix your nose. I don't even know what fix your nose means. You can go blow it. Are you going to fix it? Maybe you need Jeffrey Epstein's face surgery chair. It truly was another repudiation. And if you look at some of the polling in and around the United States, every single district is polling plus 20 for the Democrats. Every single district, as opposed to 2024. He has erased 20 percentage points in every single district. The midterms are around the corner. This is an impending disaster. And what that said, and I watched Afton Bain's speech last night. She was great.
Mm-hmm.
What that says is Donald Trump is in the fucking barrel. It doesn't matter that Mike Van Epps won that seat. That's deep red. They were plus 22. What really matters is that Donald Trump spent 4 days prior to the election, this Tennessee 7th congressional district special election, tweeting his panicking head off. Please go vote for Mike. Don't get out of line. Mike Van Epps is awesome. And it was really funny because some of the tweets are like, the lady who he's running against hates you and she fucking hates country music. That was his thing.
That's
you can't elect her. She hates country music. She even said that. That's what he said in one of his tweets. Could you believe that? She hates country music. And he tweeted dozens of times for 4 solid days because he was told that, listen, if we lose this district, we're fucked. The House flips, and it's a repudiation of you that we can't imagine. The states that turned, all the other special elections that turned for part of the Democrats, fine. This is a stronghold. This is a bastion for Christian conservatism. This is MAGA country, blue, true, absolutely 100% locked in for Donald Trump and Republicans. And you watch 20 percentage points in that district disappear.
And they're projecting.
And it's a pattern in every other district.
Yeah, they're projecting as many as 15 seats lost to the Republicans in the midterms. There are as many as 24, I think, House Republicans who are not running for re-election. There are a number of senators that are not running for re-election, all because of Donald Trump, because they don't think they can win their seats. So, we're going to see a dramatic drop in the number of seats that the Republicans can have. And they certainly, I just don't see them holding the majority unless some miracle happens. Democrats estimate 70 GOP-held House seats are friendlier than this Tennessee district. That tells you a lot. That's, a ton.
Huge.
Story
number one.
Let's get to story number one. Hegseth. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claims he couldn't see the survivors on a burning boat he watched live because of fog of war. That's what he's claiming. His most extensive attempt to distance himself from what legal experts call a potential war crime. 2 survivors clinging to a wreckage were killed in a second strike after Hegseth allegedly ordered no one be left alive. Said it much stronger.
Kill everyone.
Kill everybody. Yeah. Now both he and Trump are pointing fingers at Admiral Frank Bradley, while Pentagon officials worry they're setting up a military scapegoat. Bradley will speak to senators tomorrow in a private meeting. Senator Warner is saying maybe the military will save us from Donald Trump. I heard him say that today. Whoa, that's Senator Warner, Virginian Senator Warner, who's on the House Intelligence Committee, amongst other things, who knows a thing or two. So, wow, what do you think's going on with Hegseth?
Oh, I think he's going to get fired, and I think he's going to get charged, and I think he's going to go to jail for murdering 76 people. You cannot get away from what is coming. And this isn't just the military that's like, fuck this guy. This is every GOP senator that doesn't want to have blood on their hands, that doesn't want to be an accomplice to murder, that doesn't want to support it. In the rules of engagement with the United States military, when it comes to this very subject, there's a textbook answer that says effectively you cannot murder people after you've blown up the boat. It includes shipwrecks. You can't shoot at people that are in the water. That's murder. Those people are now no longer a threat to you because they are in the water because you blew up a boat. It's literally in the military's fucking handbook. The example that this is murder. What Pete Hegseth did and is doing and is publicizing is murder. Now let's get to Pete Hegseth, that murdering little fox drunk weekend anchor prick who's so over his head and who is in so much fucking trouble. Pete Hegseth originally, when they did these bombings, the day after this specific bombing, the double tap bombing where they hit the boat that was full of fishermen, by the way, that has now been, one of the family members has filed a suit against the United States government out of Colombia. It's a true story. It was full of fishermen. 2 guys hanging onto the edge of the boat that was in smithereens. They hit him again, and Pete Hegseth gave the fucking order. We talked about it with Kingsley Wilson yesterday, who's the Pentagon spokesperson, who admitted that, this came directly from the president, went right to Pete Hegseth, went right to Bradley, so that's what Bradley did. And here's the fucking great part. Pete Hegseth in a video the day that this happened was like, it wasn't AI. I was there. I gave the order, and I watched the whole fucking thing. Do you have the video?
No, I played it yesterday, but I could probably find it again. For me, it's just he's now arguing that this double tap is his excuse, right? That you are allowed to in war. They say you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to double.
They say
he's saying that you can take a second shot if because it might happen.
No, you can't. It's in the fucking handbook. It's in the textbook. You can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. I can't find that clip right now, but we had it on yesterday's show.
Dude, and this was a part of that press conference too yesterday, where Pete Hegseth was literally swimming in lies, looked apoplectic. He was nervous. He's like, it's the fog of war. How am I supposed to know? It's like you're shooting guys you don't know. It's called the fog of war. It's not called the fog of war. That was a premeditated murder of fucking people that were on a boat fishing. That's what you did. And you did it for a micro content video so you could sell a war against Venezuela to the American people. Rah, 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 rah. Well, it
Here's that clip,
backfired.
Actually. Here's one of that first clip you're talking about.
Oh, dude, yeah. Look at Trump's face.
Sending a message to other cartels, right?
A very clear one. I can tell you that was definitely not artificial intelligence. I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison our country with illicit drugs.
The amount of lies in that one sentence is kind of stunning. I mean,
later found out not Tren de Aragua. We're going to now have a couple of lawsuits from 2 of from families whose husbands were on that boat that they blew up, saying my husband husband was a fisherman. You killed him. Fuck you. And not only did Pete Hegseth lie in there about the purpose of doing it, he also lied about the fact that we have a responsibility. These were narco terrorists. No, they weren't. You also lied about the labeling of these people. And again, I go back to this all the time because it's the simplest explanation. Do you know why he did it? I'll tell you why he did it. To create sweet, clickable micro content that make them look badass, that could justify some kind of invasion of Venezuela, justify an invasion of Mexico. The words narco-terrorist, they're labeling everybody they want to murder as a narco-terrorist or a left-wing lunatic or part of the trans army, and everybody that doesn't agree with them, everybody that they put these labels on, you're fair game. Not only fair game, you're fucking dead meat.
Why is he so interested in this? Why is Hegseth personally a weirdo from Fox News, admittedly someone who believes in, has got these strange Nazi-like tattoos on his body? Why is he so intent on going to war personally? Why is he so invested in this Venezuelan narco trading thing is a question I keep asking myself. I get it.
He's not. He's not. He's invested in doing whatever dear leader tells him to do.
Yeah.
He is cosplaying as a fucking military tough guy. He is a Christian nationalist who has no problem, and this is the issue that I have with Abrahamic nationalists, whether you be a Muslim extremist or a Christian extremist, Christian nationalist, Muslim extremist, doesn't matter to me. The death penalty is part of his mantra. Like, we need to take everybody, we need to kill everybody we can. We need to get rid of anybody we want because we have a job to do, and that job has been given to us, and we have been chosen by that one true God to do this job. So he not only thinks he's appeasing the military boss who's got nothing to do with the military, doesn't understand the military fucking hates him, in Donald Trump. He literally thinks he's on some kind of magical religious crusade. That's why he's doing it.
What a story. Can't wait to see what happens tomorrow when Bradley shows up and speaks to the senators.
Closed door, by the way.
Yeah, and it's closed door, but we're going to get something out of that. Meanwhile, the president of the United States at his cabinet meeting yesterday, taking a little nap. He was up late last night, the night before at least. Guy's tired, man. He's tired. Got Marco Rubio chipping away, and he's next to him, just yakking away about something. Couldn't be less interested in what Marco has to say, so he takes a little nap.
He might be interested. He can't be interested because he's too tired. Yeah.
Sorry, there he is. Sleepy
Look at his picture. He's fucking his mouth. He's mouth sleeping. That's how people look on airplanes in hour 6.
Yeah, they're drooling. Remember when they called Joe Biden Sleepy Joe?
Yeah,
and Sleepy Don feels pretty good to me. It feels pretty right,
I watched a lot of that press conference. I would say 3/4 of just over 2 hours long. I want to put a number to how many times he nodded off. I think I counted 13. He fell asleep almost 13 times. And when I say fell asleep, eyes closed, head bobbing, this kind of shit, slouched over. These are with like 20 cameras in the room. His entire
national TV. It was carried live with CPAC. Sorry. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
And he just fucking kept falling asleep. He couldn't stop falling asleep. Or he was slouched over. He was like super low fucking energy. And he was just going, yeah, thank you very much. He is so fucking unwell. It is absolutely stunning.
This is after he was up the night before, like rage tweeting against the world, right? I
mean, it takes a toll, right?
Yeah,
when you're 80, you just got to. And the funny part is about how much he fell asleep. If I put a number to the minutes that he was asleep of those 2 hours, it was somewhere around 15 to 20. 15 to 20 minutes he was asleep on national television doing a very important press conference on behalf of the United States of America because he couldn't keep his fucking eyes open.
If this was Joe Biden a year ago,
oh my god, the Democrats would have yanked him out of there.
The outrage would have been insane, though. I mean, the newspapers and the news organizations would be full tilt about how unwell this man is and how he can't possibly be the president of the United States. And here's Donald Trump, and he gets a complete pass. I mean, you're the only person I've heard mention this. Where is everybody talking about the fact that
Nobody is.
Nobody's talking about it. Why aren't we talking about the fact that he's not even able to stay awake at a cabinet meeting?
Yeah. And by the way, this cabinet meeting was at 11 o'clock in the morning. New report came out the other day. It said he doesn't even fucking get out of bed till 12:08 p.m. Like, he gets out of bed at lunch. I shit you not. That was a new report that came out. And here's the other thing. the spin after this was fucking hilarious because there were some people like us who were talking about it. And on Fox News, they brought a doctor on to talk about this. And the doctor's like, hey, listen, these are really strategic naps to recharge his battery.
Give me a break. Strategic naps.
These are really strategic naps to recharge his battery. Between the ages of 45 and 80, everybody does this. No big deal. I applaud the president for feeling comfortable enough to fall asleep in fucking public. Yeah,
in his cabinet meeting, from the beginning to the end of his cabinet meeting, he took a strategic nap.
The whole fucking time. He was asleep for the whole fucking thing.
He does have a job. You know, he actually has to show up for work. He should stay awake like the rest of us.
He has not done that job once in the entire time that he's been president of the United States since he came to office 11 months ago. And here's the other fucking funny part of this story. And this is where we'll end.
Yeah.
Katie Rogers asked a question about his stamina and his health and the MRI. We went over the MRI stuff. Yes, she's lying about that too. He's so fucking sick. He is so unwell. He's hiding all of it. He raged at her about how awful the question was. He was so fucking triggered by it. Then he started going into the fact that you've seen my physical. I'm perfect. I'm excellent. I'm in great shape. Don't you dare. 4 minutes after he raged at her, he was asleep. He was a fucking sleep.
It must be a terrible
you
job.
You can't write it.
You know, this guy gets to fly around in his jet. He gets everything brought to him. He doesn't have to do a thing except wake up in the morning and just make some decisions that are important about keeping his countrymen safe. And he fucks it up day in and day out. There's just, I just swore again. What are you doing to me, Dean? But he does.
You know what I'm doing is I'm corrupting you. I like how you say frustrated. Yeah, you know what? I'm so far gone past. I remember in the first Trump administration, I would come home and watch the news all day, and I'm like, can you believe this? I can't fucking believe this. I believe all of it. Like I find this colossally entertaining. Because the end is coming. You and I both know that. People that cover this shit know that. The Epstein files are going to take him out. If they don't, Pete Hegseth's going to take him out. If they don't, illegal orders are going to take him out. If they don't, his self-enrichment, crypto scams, selling pardons are going to take him out. He is in so much fucking trouble. And let me just point this out too. If it's drugs, great. If it's dementia, great. There's rumors about him having another drug issue. But
Adderall? He's back on Adderall?
When you are in so much trouble, I don't know about you, but there have been times in my life where so many issues piled up at the same time, traditionally of my own doing, right? Whether it was, you know, your kids are going through a tough time and you're getting divorced and, you know, you're being financially wiped out and, you know, your dog dies, like all these things, like one of my best friends died. All of those things literally happened in 1 week for me. I slept for 3 days at one point. I could not keep my eyes open because the stress was so fucking tiring. And there are a lot of people like me. My dad's like this. When he's overwhelmed to the point where he's like, I can't make heads or tails of this. It's like walking into a dirty bedroom and going, I don't know where to start. I'm just going to close the door. Yeah. It's the same mental, you know, overload. And I think that is why we're seeing Dozy Dawn, because it is adding up at such an alarming rate. Not just his issues. And these are not like, oh, well, you use the auto pen. No, these are fucking criminal issues. These are impeachable, convictable, treasonous, seditious issues. And they continue to pile up at his doorstep. And it is getting so real for Donald Trump at this point. I wouldn't doubt that his brain, what's left of it, is just so overloaded with stress. Because we're watching him snap all the time now. We're watching him say really ridiculous shit. We're watching him tell clear lies when the truth will fucking do. We're watching disinhibition at an alarming rate, another issue when it comes to dementia. We know he has a dementia diagnosis. We know he's hiding MRI information. They do not do preventative MRIs for people in, quote, excellent shape. He knows.
He must be getting a lot of heat from people. He does not surround himself with nice people. The people around him are, you know, criminals, thugs, mobsters. not nice guys.
Calling him, leaning on him.
He
Hey,
must
we're
be
going to
calling him
release
saying-
this. You say anything, I'm going
Yeah.
to put this picture. Yeah, oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
There's all that
so that's
too.
that's a different kind of pressure. That's a different kind of heat coming at you. Russian president is probably giving him heat too every single day, and this man's falling apart for it. That is the 5 Stack today. We should tell everyone to go to deanblundell.substack.com. Some great reporting today from Dean, all about the Epstein photos and the film and the video we showed you, plus this incredible report on the $310 million lawsuit against Donald Trump. It's all at deanblundell.substack.com. Busy man today, Dean.
Yeah, it's been good. We really enjoyed it. We had to finish the 2-day lazy Cyber Monday sale as well because I forgot to take that down. So we're back to a little cute December special for everybody. 25% off annual subscriptions for the month of December. Look for a couple of sneaky Christmas options as well. We want to get as many people in the tent as humanly possible. We love you. We love doing this. And if you go to deanblundell.substack.com, subscribe for free. It doesn't cost a thing. You get the Daily Dean newsletter. Notice you just started doing the narrative daily newsletter too. That's fun.
I have,
great stuff. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's nice to do something that just sort of wraps everything up together. You were in it today, actually. You were there today. Your
Yeah,
story
you were in
about
mine
that thing.
yesterday.
Yeah, it was really good. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, listen, these are things that democracy lovers need to know, and that's why we exist, and we are you. That's why we do this. We go through the same things you do. We just happen to have big mouths of platform, and Lev's got some cool AI that can do great logos, and he's got a great
Zev, but it's okay.
Zev got a great, sexy talking voice. So we get a
sing.
chance to be in your life every single day at 3:00. Please go and subscribe for free, paid. Thank you so much. You all get unlimited access and you lock in that annual for life. But cannot tell you enough about my friend Zev Shalev's reporting, specifically Chapter 4, Book 2. I need everybody to go read it. And if you subscribe to Lev, what you'll get is a steady stream of not just the truth, but granular context that makes you go, oh my God, after every single chapter. So go get Chapter 4 right now. Subscribe to narrative.org. That is Zev Shalev. He's the best investigative reporter I've ever met, and he's also my friend. So you get that stinky badge of approval as well.
Thank you, my friend. Dean Blundell from deanblundell.substack.com. That is the 5 Stacks for today, December 3rd, 2025. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.